Tonight, Hugh Jackman sharpens his claws for some time-bending action in X-Men Days of Future Past.
There's something hiding in the shadows in The Babadook.
And Scarlett Johansson is the girl that fell to earth in Under the Skin. Hello.
Good evening.
Also tonight, Steve Coogan and Rob Brydon take the Cook's tour in The Trip to Italy.
A village stands up to a band of villains in My Sweet Pepperland.
And our classic this week is Something Wild. But first, David, explain to me Under the Skin.
Well, Margaret, I will try. An alien being visiting Earth adopts the outer skin of a beautiful woman, Scarlett Johansson, and embarks on a strange journey through Scotland, luring the men she encounters to strange fates. Jonathan Glazer's third feature, after Sexy Beast and Birth, is based on a novel by Michael Faber and is basically in the tradition of films like Nicholas Roeg's The Man Who Fell to Earth or John Carpenter's Starman, in that it deals with the impact of an alien being on the human race. In this case, Glazer avoids the obvious cliches with a revolutionary approach. He had Scarlett Johansson drive incognito through Scotland in a car with hidden camera, picking up men, so that the men we see aren't actors, but the real deal, and hence, perhaps, their sometimes impenetrable accents. Johansson gives a brave performance in a film that has very little dialogue and very little in the way of overt explanation. Yet, it's one of the most unusual, creepy and gripping sci-fi films in recent memory. It's had a very mixed reaction from overseas critics, and I suppose it would be easy to mock it, but it's a must-see for anyone interested in something genuinely original and different. Margaret.
And particularly if you're a fan of Jonathan Glazer as a filmmaker, which I am. I love
Scarlett
both.
Johansson as an actress.
Well, and apparently she wanders around Scotland with no one recognising her picking up these guys.
They obviously don't go to the movies.
But they had about 8 cameras in that car with Glazer sitting in the back behind, you know, on earphones and monitors. I mean, it's a most revolutionary approach to filmmaking, I think. What it is, it looks beautiful. I mean, the fate of these men is actually gorgeous, and it's almost like, you know, Planet of the Apes in, you know, that sense of rebirth. I just don't get it. You know, I wish I understood it more.
Well, I'm not sure that I get it either,
because I don't think she has impact on human beings in any significant way. I mean, she's just...
You don't?
Well, she does on the ones she meets, but not on humankind, really. So, look, I found it really interesting, really beautiful. I'm giving it 3 stars because I didn't understand it.
Well, as I say, I'm not sure I understood it either, but I'm giving it 4 stars because I was really... I found it wonderful.
Handsome face.
Aye.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, cheers.
Do you think I'm pretty?
Aye, you're gorgeous.
Do you?
Aye, definitely.
Good.
Aye, I've got a nice smile as well, by the way.
Do I?
Aye, big time.
What about your smile?
Aye.
You have a nice smile yourself.
Cheers.
Good.
Good.
The sound and music are fabulous too. Under the Skin opens in limited national release next week. And on our website are interviews with director Jonathan Glazer and actor Scarlett Johansson. Now, just as in the movie The Terminator, the future is bleak in X-Men Days of Future Past. And one moment in history determined that future. The mutants and the humans that support them are being decimated by Sentinels, which have been developed by the company owned by Bolivar Trask, Peter Dinklage after Mystique. Jennifer Lawrence was captured after assassinating Trask in 1973. Her DNA was used to develop the Sentinels. Wolverine, Hugh Jackman, is sent back into the past by Shadowcat, Ellen Page, to foil the assassination. To do that, he needs the help of the young Charles Xavier, James McAvoy, and Magneto, Michael Fassbender, who are at that stage sworn enemies. There's a race against time to change the course of history and get Mystique on side. She is determined on her course to kill Trask.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hello. Thank you for coming. With this weapon, there will be no human collateral damage. If I turn it on, the system couldn't even activate in here. Unless there's a mutant. What are you?
This is a star-studded affair with so much talent in the cast, and they are actually all impressive. Amazing what substance in performance can do to distract from the incredible and the incredibly silly. This is the usual rollercoaster ride with our Marvel comic heroes, with the usual subtext of the fear of outsiders determining the campaign against the mutants. It's been robustly directed by Bryan Singer in 3D, which gives the film a beautiful depth and which doesn't resort to cheap tricks of having stuff flying at you from the screen. It's an enjoyable romp which slightly overplays its hand at the end by ramping up the tension a little bit too obviously. But David, how did you find this?
I enjoyed it, more than I expected to, I have to say. I guess I'm a sucker for these sort of time travel films, travelling back in time to change the course of history. I think that's a fascinating concept, and so I enjoy any film that does that. And this one goes back to 1973, and there's all sorts of really nice little touches from them.
Yes.
There's the waterbeds, there's Roberta Flack, there's President Nixon having a hidden tape recorder in his desk. All sorts of little...
There are nice touches in it, aren't there?
Very nice touches. I found it a bit difficult to believe that James McAvoy as an old man would be Patrick Stewart. I mean, they're so dissimilar.
Age can do that to people,
well,
David.
Can it really?
Well, you lose your hair. Oh, I don't know.
But your eyes don't change completely. Anyway, I mean, that's a minor point. Look, it's a ripping yarn, and pretty much I enjoyed it, even though it's a bit over the top, as you say, at times.
But it's, it's an enjoyable romp.
It is.
I'm giving it 3.5 stars.
Me too, 3.5.
Time's up.
Sunspot.
Let's go.
X-Men Days of Future Past opens nationally this week. Our next film is The Babadook. In a shadowy suburban house in Adelaide, Amelia Essie Davis lives with her 6-year-old son Samuel, Noah Wiseman. Amelia has never quite recovered from the death of her husband Oscar in a car crash the day Samuel was born. She's a kindly woman who works in a home for old people and worries about the violent tendencies of her hyperactive son. Sam produces a book, Mr. Babadook, and asks his mother to read it. And then strange and frightening events begin to happen. Writer-director Jennifer Kent scored a success at Sundance earlier this year with this minimalist but very effective horror film. It's not exactly an original subject, but working on a limited budget, Kent has achieved a great deal. The film's chief success is in the acting. Essie Davis gives an exceptionally fine performance as the traumatised woman whose terror grows as the film proceeds, while young Noah Wiseman is quite remarkable as the out-of-control Samuel, sweet and loving one moment, diabolical the next. Margaret, what did you make of this?
I think this is a most extraordinary debut film. I think it is so full of talent. As you say, those performances are really wonderful.
Superb,
but
yeah.
what I really liked about this film was the cohesiveness of the ideas in it. And I don't know, I just thought it was so finely pitched and intriguing from go to woe. I just love this country that, you know, all this talent gets picked off to Hollywood and we just keep on producing more. And I was truly blown away by this film.
It's very impressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, coming out of
Yeah.
nowhere, really.
Yes.
It's a very impressive film.
and very controlled,
Yeah.
beautifully
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
I'm giving it 4.5 stars.
I'm giving it 4.
I don't want you to die.
I'm not going to die for a long time yet.
Did you think that about my dad before he died?
Just take your pill so you can go to sleep. I've got the day off tomorrow. Maybe we could do something.
Will these make the Babadook go away?
I think so, but you have to promise me not to mention it again.
I promise to protect you if you promise to protect me. Then I won't mention it.
I promise to protect you. Come on.
I forgot to mention Alexander Yuhash's beautiful book that is the basis for all the mayhem. So it's really beautifully done. The Babadook opens around the country in limited release this week. Well, Rob Brydon and Steve Coogan are on the road again with director Michael Winterbottom in the trip to Italy. Having savoured the delicacies of Northern England on their last trip in 2010, the two reunite to sample the cuisine of a warmer climate, riffing on Byron and Shelley, singing along to Alanis Morissette, doing sometimes hilarious imitations as they make their way from Piemonte to Rome, down the Amalfi Coast and ultimately to Capri, lurching from one gourmet meal to the next. One of the most delicious pieces is where they imagine a nervous assistant director on The Dark Knight Rises trying to get Christian Bale and Tom Hardy to speak more clearly.
And what about Tom Hardy as Bane? Did you catch a single
they're like competing to see who's the least understandable.
Bane, you're never gonna beat me, you'll never beat me. Take off your mask, love. I can't catch a word you're saying. He's a wonderful actor, don't get me wrong.
No, he's very
Tom
good.
Hardy's
No,
very muscular, so he's a terrific actor.
No, he's good. He's scary good.
Yeah,
Scarily good.
Fiction blends with reality, as this time it's Rob who's tempted to stray from the straight and narrow with a beautiful expat, Rosie Fellner, and Steve rescues his son from a boring holiday in Ibiza. But these are just side issues to the main event, which is the ever-sunny Bryden and the slightly more churlish Coogan doing what they do best.
Oh, my God.
Not good.
That's fantastic.
Very, very nice. You know what will make this perfect now? Michael Bublé. A bit of Bublé. Do you like Bublé? Where do you stand on Michael Bublé?
His windpipe?
You don't mean that. Parkinson loves him. Ever listen to Michael Bublé?
Oh, yeah.
Michael Bublé.
Michael Bublé.
Michael Bublé.
Michael Bublé.
It's not a bad way to earn a living, and it's nice that they've invited us along for the ride. They're great company as they immerse themselves in the landscape, the history, the film history, the culture, and the cuisine of their chosen destination. The two create an interesting blend of grouchiness, competitiveness, and fondness. You can't help but like them both enormously. Michael Winterbottom's main problem must have been in the editing with all the material at his disposal. This is definitely a trip worth taking.
And it's very original. I mean, it's a very original concept, isn't it, to have a sort of part fictional, part improvised riffing all against a background of swell hotels and wonderful meals and wine and so forth, and this savage scenery in Italy. I mean, it's a very interesting blend, but of course it's unique to these two guys because they do it as they did the first time, really.
But, you know, it's easy to think, oh, that, you know, Winterbottom's just gone along for the ride, and you forget that these are actually quite cleverly constructed.
Structured.
And they are performances.
Yeah.
Except, you know, when it gets out of hand and Coogan ends up laughing hysterically, you think that's real.
I think it's just a little bit long. I thought that of the first one too, and maybe it might play better as a television series.
Well, this is how it showed in England.
But it's still very enjoyable. I'm giving it 3.5.
I'm giving it 4. I like them a lot.
A Dolce Vita. We're living the dream. It's funny, isn't it? When women that age just look straight through us, don't they?
Non-threatening.
Yeah, they don't even find us threatening. They don't even find us me lascivious because they think I couldn't possibly be thinking like that.
The one in the blue top looks like a younger me. The younger, idealised version of me, a lovely hybrid of Springsteen and Pacino.
He's like you after a computer has corrected all your decisions.
He's an airbrushed me, isn't he?
He's like the best surgeon in the world.
Yeah.
He's been given a year with you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
There was a time when I used to make eye contact with a woman and she'd flash a smile back. And that's all it would be, just a little moment. Those women just, the smile you get from them is the smile they give to a benevolent uncle. Or a pest. Oh, let's just look this way. Nature never disappoints you. No rejection.
The trip to Italy opens around the country next week. And now for my sweet Pepperland. After the downfall of Saddam Hussein, an independent Kurdistan is established. Former resistance fighter Baran Kormash Asian is unimpressed by the new regime's bumbling efforts at establishing law and order. But life at home with his mother, who keeps trying to find him a wife, is no solution. He volunteers for the job of policeman at an isolated village near the Turkish border, where the local boss, Aziz Aga, Tariq Akrey, and his heavily armed men control just about everything and engage in a bit of smuggling on the side. Matters are complicated by the presence in the village of a young woman teacher, the fiercely independent Govend, Golshifteh Farahani.
شش جار سه بزنی؟ یک و یک چند نکرد گرنگ نکه اگه نزنیم لگم قصاب که چند؟ ده بیرنگی مسکین اما چند نکرد
تقريبا بلان دايكم باكم دكاتا دمنا.
Haina Salim's very enjoyable film is a cross between a Middle East Western and a morality tale that explores the outdated misogyny of these tribal people. Salim's previous film, Vodka Lemon, displayed a similar skill in blending black comedy with wider concerns. But here, the influence seems to be the spaghetti Western. Among the surprises are an army of female freedom fighters who, while their motives aren't entirely clear, prove formidable in a fight. Salim ratchets up the tension very successfully in this pretty enjoyable update of the classic new marshal in town scenario. Margaret.
Do you know, it opens with a hanging, you know, and I went, oh my God, but you wonder about it because it's funny and unsettling. And so that tone is there really throughout the film. And I love this film. I think she is the most exquisitely beautiful creature. She plays that still hung, you know, in the film.
She's an Iranian actress, actually.
But you know, she's so talented in so many different ways. And Kormash Asian has got that sort of presence of, you know, the sheriff in town who is incorruptible. I loved it, and I love the landscape. It's obvious that, you know, he's looking at his country, at all the beauty in it and the problems in it with these local warlords.
And making and also the music is terrific. Not just the steel hang,
I know.
but all those songs on the soundtrack. It's also very good.
It's great. I'm giving this 4 stars. I thought it was lovely.
I like it too. I'm giving it 3.5.
من قال كيف تتت من كيف مروفي كلا راحتت لا مش شی بخور مال خورینی معاشق خوی خودکاری خلکی و تیول نده
پروبلم چی که؟
باران و مامستا یه بوی نه هوال نه هوالی همزان
پروبلم تو نی عزیز آقا
تو هشتا باش نزانی باران ناموس پرگرانه
سر شر کرمز تو کات پیاز نزن عزیز آقا اما زنیمه ایمان نکن که هر ما پیاز و ججوریه
A Mexican standoff in My Sweet Pepperland, which opens in limited national release this week. A film that completely galvanised and enchanted me nearly 30 years ago was Jonathan Demme's 1986 Something Wild, which I've chosen for the classic this week. There was something so off-kilter about the film. It was wacky romantic comedy building up to a film noirish finale. Demme had, like many other directors of his generation, come out of the Roger Corman school, cutting his teeth on relatively low-budget films. After directing Melvin and Howard in 1980 and Swing Shift in 1984, a bit disillusioned, he went off to make a documentary with Talking Heads, and it's no surprise that David Byrne wrote the opening song for Demme's return to Hollywood with Something Wild. In fact, the music is one of the fabulous elements of the film. John Cale and Laurie Anderson were responsible for it. The story goes like this. Straight New York accountant type Charles Driggs, Jeff Daniels, is virtually kidnapped one Friday lunch by Lulu, Melanie Griffith. He's whisked off to New Jersey for some unconventional sex and generally a walk on the wild side.
I'm really very sorry, but we're all booked up.
Good night, Rose.
Sir, the young woman said you'd get this.
Oh, she didn't pay for this?
No, sir.
Lulu, you...
She said the gentleman would pay for dinner.
The gentleman... This is absolutely unbelievable. Well, okay, fine. That's no problem, Rose. I'll take care of that lickety-split. How about that, all right? Sorry. The credit cards. How about that?
We don't accept any credit cards. Any credit cards.
Problem, Dad? Possible cash flow problem?
No, there's no problem. There's no problem at all. I don't think that there is anything to worry about. I mean, come on, fellas. I mean, do I look like the kind of guy who would run out on a check? I mean, come on. You guys.
Entering the scene a bit later is Ray, played by Ray Liotta, and this is the film that kick-started his cinema career. They're all fabulous in this, but Liotta scarily so. The other mark of Jonathan Demme here is his eye for the quirks of everyday American life, plus his sense of design. It's really nicely directed. He went on to make another quirky classic, Married to the Mob, in 1988, before scooping the pool in the Oscars with Silence of the Lambs in 91. Something Wild was the first produced screenplay of E. Max Fry. It was shot by Demme's regular cinematographer, Tak Fujimoto. Production design was by Australian Norma Morrisseau. Sly cameos by John Sayles and John Waters. David?
Yes, John Sayles playing a cop. And John Waters playing a used car salesman.
Yes.
There's lots of lovely little characters. I love the waitress who comes in to sing the credits at the end and from the last
fantastic.
scene. And there's all sorts of little things here. I mean, I guess this is basically, at the outset, it's a sort of variation on Bringing Up Baby, because it's the wild woman or unconventional woman who takes this very straight guy off on a merry chase. But of course, this goes very dark with the introduction of the Ray Liotta character. It's full of really interesting, eccentric characters, and all sort of throwaway little things, like the dog on the back of the motorbike wearing goggles.
I know. It's full of gorgeous little things, and it was so great revisiting it and getting as much fun out of it as I did the first time around. But before we go, you have to see Ray Liotta in action.
Just coffee for me, Darlene.
In a flash.
You don't mind, do you, Ray?
Charlie, you gotta be out of your mind. You don't know what you're doing.
Charlie, you are one dumb son of a bitch. I'm almost starting to like you, Charlie.
Here you go.
Thanks, Darlene. I want Lulu. Is that your name this week? Lulu?
Yes.
You know, Charlie, she's not gonna be too happy driving around in a station wagon the rest of her life. You better think about that. You better ask yourself if you really want her. I really want her. Aww.
Great.
Charlie, you gotta fight for a woman like this. I don't have to fight you, Ray. I'm gonna take Lulu. We're gonna waltz right out of here, and there's not a damn thing you can do. Oh, Charlie, you are something. You are something. Take a look over there. Go ahead. Evening, officer. That's gone.
A terrific scene. Ray Liotta is good, isn't he?
I mean, love every frame of that film. Absolutely every frame.
That was Jonathan Demme's Something Wild.
Well, next week we'll be coming to you from the Cannes Film Festival, so we'd love it if you'd join us.
And that's the show for tonight. Good night from us.
Good night.